let's see here. How do I change my camera? Can you all hear me? I think you can probably hear me. I don't know. All right. We have welcome to hold on. Welcome to What the Heck. There we go. There's a minor echo, and I don't care. It's awesome. And today we have somebody calling in, I guess. Oh, hold on a second. There's somebody else here. Oh, hey, what's happening?
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
It's time for What the Heck.
Yeah, man, you're late. We're like 5 minutes late entirely because of you and not me.
It's completely my fault.
How are you doing? Bartok. We have Bartok, maker of cables. Like if you watch The Matrix, like the key maker's like the cool dude that can do anything and go anywhere. Like in the world of modular, cable maker's king. We have the king of modular right here, Bartok.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yes. And today we have no agenda because, I don't know, that's just been the trend and it's fine. So I'm going to get it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. We'll be talking about modular. So what's up? It's been a couple weeks. Last week I was out of town away from my modular, so I didn't do it.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Just actually, the big thing that I've been up to is preparing for the gigantic EMS 1-year birthday celebration. That's coming up.
Yes, that is coming up, and I am super stoked about it.
That's going to be on Saturday, October 2nd. We've got a huge lineup. People signed up starting, I think, around 5 a.m. Pacific time, going all the way to 10, 11 p.m. So that information will be posted up soon. We just had sign-up sheet going out, so keep an eye out for our Instagram, Earth Modular Society on Instagram, for more release info, who's going to be playing. But it's a huge celebration.
Yeah, it's going to be so dang cool. I have no idea if I can make it that day, but if I can, I will caboose it or something.
Yeah.
I can stay up. I can make it happen, and then we'll go to 6 a.m. or something. I don't know.
Right?
We'll figure it out.
We'll carry it on to the next day.
Yeah, I got to beat my record by starting really late and then going until the next day.
So yeah, I've been busy with that. I kind of was going to take this all down and work on coming up with an idea for a case that would encase both of these IntelliGel performance cases, but I decided to stream instead. So I think last week sometime I started plugging things back and just experimenting, and that's where I've been at. And I also my drum section, I've been working on it for a while, and I've got the Erica Sense Pico drums for my drum samples, and I've never really been kind of happy with the snare options that I find, but WMD released the Kraken Module, which is a snare drum module. It's not sample based, it's all digital processing, so I ordered that, and looking forward to that coming in and kind of filling out my drum section.
Yeah, I would actually really like to talk about the Kraken module, because that is the first sadly that's the first drum module that doesn't have MIDI that really excites me. Like, I was listening to it, and the thing is like a performance machine. Like, I feel like you can't go wrong messing with it and dramatically changing the sound to just do all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things where once I saw this, I was like, okay, that's really cool. I really need to get it. Was the fact that if it receives there's two different inputs, where if one trigger is received at the same time on those inputs, then it actually outputs the sound of like the drumstick hitting the side. I don't know what the technical term of that, but when you like hit the side of your snare with a drumstick, and you get that So it actually recreates that if it gets two triggers at the same time in certain inputs.
Yeah, so you can get multiple sounds out of the same patch without tweaking anything. Like that was something that I was really stoked about. So you can put two triggers in essentially and have two drum sounds going.
Right. And there's lots of other CV inputs. So that's going to allow me to use the Volterra that right now really goes unused because I've got other modules that give me the CV outs that I need. But I can now dedicate the Volterra to go into that module as well. So that's going to be really handy.
That's awesome. Do you know how many HP? That's a weird question to ask. How many HP is it off the top of your head? I just don't remember.
I don't
It wasn't
remember
that
off the top
huge.
of my head.
It looked like 6 or something.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I got excited about it is because I was fortunate enough to play some of Robbie's modules a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of the module, but Robbie has a snare module that it was pretty good. But this is like that on steroids, I feel like. It's a little harder hitting, and the two voices is killer. Especially when you can do some of that modulation on both of them at once, both of those sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamie says it's 8 HP, and that's correct, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's a little wider than I'd like, but maths is gonna go, and that'll free up some stuff for a minute. That's what I should do this weekend: is sell my maths. Got some math homework to do.
I'm sure you'll have no problem selling that.
No, it's an awesome module. I probably will sell it with the panel. I have swapped it out to a black panel because I'm that person.
Right.
There's no defending my actions. I guess I could swap it back for them, but like it's just pulling knobs off. It's not that hard. Actually, it is kind of that hard. That module, the mass has something like 50-something holes. That's crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, not all of those are volts or potentiometers, but it's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one I'm really excited about. It just came out like a week ago or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. Just real not that long ago.
I've been seeing them blasted on social media. That is the first module I've considered buying in a long time that I haven't wanted to build myself. So I don't know. I wonder if I can. I'm gonna ping like Alex or somebody and see if I can get like the PCB and just try to build it. Like, can you make a Cosmo version for me? I have room for that.
I think the Cosmo version just goes inside a 3D printed Cosmo panel.
Yeah, that is an option. I've seen some people doing that and having more and more success as they have to be a little bit thicker, which is fine, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's black plastic versus crappily spray painted black aluminum or regular aluminum. Anyway, what else is happening? Trying to think.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So have a good night.
That's it. That's all we got. Sure. We almost made it under the. We actually, if we end right now, we could end under that 10 minutes and get more YouTube views for the algorithm. There was something I was going to build that I just got. Oh, I started building a keyboard, totally unrelated, like mechanical keyboard. And it's really cathartic to build that, even though it's nightmarish.
Oh, which one did you get?
I got the. Hold on. It's. This isn't even the right browser. It's called the Disarray AM FM, and it's in the garage because it's in pieces right now. But it's like it sort of looks like a boombox, which obviously appealed to me. And I ordered some like all black, no label keycaps for it, and I will be labeling those in silver Sharpie, and it will look like Cosmo as a keyboard.
Very cool.
Have I started working on Matt Damon? No, I haven't. I haven't started on my Damonitos. That's actually right next to it because I actually want the next order of things I'm going to do out there, either this evening or tomorrow, is fix a couple broken things, which are just a couple, probably a little bit of solder and done, and a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to probably crack open Matt Damon and start drawing pictures, knowing nothing about reverse engineering. Anyway, that's for a different stream. I'm sorry. Just know that Robbie and I have to work on Matt Damon at some point.
Robbie, have you started?
Yeah, good question.
We'll see what he says.
Do not know. Anyway, while we wait for that 20 seconds.
Is it 20?
Yeah, it's like a 20-second round trip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was a fun patch I made, and it wasn't dramatically different than patches I usually make, other than I'm getting better at bringing the weird out, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was different enough. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, that was fun. You started working on the cipher. That's cool. I have not. That's probably the first thing I'm going to do because it's the most fun for me to do versus reverse engineering electronics. Yeah. I think of what else. Yeah, so the Matt Damon thing is a philanthropy gift from Andor crew at DEF CON, and we got that for playing Sense in the Hallway, like a couple of cool kids.
I know NobCon's around the corner, right? Isn't that this weekend?
I think so. I've seen more of the YouTube type folks talking about it. Yes.
Yeah, starts Friday.
And a lot of them are going. I'm excited. I hope there's some cool releases. Really, the only... I don't know what to expect there, really. So, we'll see. We'll have a lively show after, for sure, because we can talk about some of the cool stuff.
You know, Anton is headed over there, and we have a NobCon thread started on the Discord. So he's going to post any cool things that he finds there.
Maybe we could do a live what the heck when it's going and have Anton live streaming it. I don't know. I'll talk to Anton. Prairie Wires Fest on Sunday. Brandon, Manitoba. Be there or don't. Yeah, go to the Brandon Wires Fest on Sunday. I'm pretty sure Forrest Dean might be playing there. We want to go to NobCon anyway. Yeah, maybe that event was poorly timed. I don't know. It's probably about the best time you can go before it starts getting cold. It's starting to get chilly up here. Yeah, so there's a big event. Forrestine showed me some photos, and she's got some visuals by an artist who I cannot see right now because my browser is all messed up. But
yeah, that's Sunday at 11.
Yep.
And I'll tell you who's
visuals by. Oh, don't make me load Facebook. All right. Well, if I cut out, it's because I tried to do something I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, I'll post a link on the chat. It's prairiewires.ca.
Chris Harder. This guy makes really rad visuals. I'm not going to share them because I don't think I have permission. And yeah, that's okay. In meat space. Should just be on the flyer. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think we necessarily need to always talk about new gear, although that's fun to talk about because it's easy and we can pine about the new modules interfaces that are going to be way better than our current modules and make our music better. This whole thing is just to hang out, right?
Yeah.
But looping back to new gear, I'm still dreaming of the chord drum machine that they teased a little bit. I'm hoping that thing is a monster. If it comes with analog kick, analog snare, and then a bunch of digital, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Maybe an FM drum, but
Yeah, that stuff is out of my realm. I
yeah,
enjoy it, but I don't know enough about them.
yeah. I mean, it would replace one of these things.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I have not been using my XD very much lately because I've been just enjoying modular to its fullest, which is fine. What you heard earlier was almost all the modular, with the exception of there was some drum brute impact drums in there, but most of it was the rample. How about recent techniques?
Recent techniques. So, it's recent that I've been thinking about it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll probably start working on it tomorrow. The snare drum module had me kind of thinking, you know what, I should try to make drum sounds out of my analog modules, out of stuff that I don't do. I've been relying on, I've got the kick-all and the BIA and the Pico drums.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been reading up on, and I'm going to start trying to patch out, is making drums and other drum module sounds out of all of my VCOs and filters, and trying to come up with a patch for that.
I highly recommend that. Like, that almost seems like this almost seems like a patchable, if they haven't already done it, like sort of prompt, which is like take your Euro rack and turn it into like a drummer from another mother, right? Like make a bunch of drum sounds out of things that aren't normally used as drums in your setup. Like it's super fun.
Right. And I know that's really common. It's nothing crazy or new, but it's something I've never done, and I really think I should, just so I can learn my system a little bit better. Yeah, and there's a patchable for that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of how I've been doing some of these things. Like this sound is pretty much, I treat it like a drum hit, and so I'm not like changing the pitch or anything. And one of the things that I'm excited to try doing that needs a little bit more repatching or experimentation comes from the laser theremin that Robbie and I were playing with. But when we had this going, it was pretty rad that we gated it. So we had like a consistent VCA happening that was gated for all the sound coming out of this, which made it really performative. So I don't necessarily want to do that with the laser theremin. But my point is, like, get some really like reverb-y sound, like, I don't know, like this, but like, and then gate it, right? Like, get some gnarly sound like that and start gating it as its own voice, which is very drum-like, but it's something I really want to do soon. Grilling anybody how to post-punk in modular, and one idea is that everything is percussive. Yeah, I agree, Forrestine. Everything is percussive. If you don't know what to do with the sound, or you're out of modules to make it like a normal voice, do a hard gate and make it a drum. Like this. Or do Morse code or whatever you're into.
Right. I've done something like that before with like a looping ADSR. But it was percussive, but I didn't do it with the intention of it being a percussive sound. So that's what I really want to focus on.
That makes sense. One thing with this patch that I just made, like, I don't know, an hour before we played it, was like I turned on my machine and I think I made that sound as soon as I hit the button.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, cool. I'm just going to use that. And like, and I went with it because I think I made that sound when I was showing somebody who was over at our house like how to play with the filter and things like that, and I just left it that way and forgot about it, and it was meant to be played like, ooh. Anyway, it's not good in the higher pitches right now, but it came up with that sound that was pretty fun, like blamp. Like jub jub. I don't know what Forstein's saying.
Apparently, we're supposed to know. So
Yeah, okay.
yes,
We
yes,
do.
just
We
like
know.
Blamp.
Yeah, like Blamp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blamp. But yeah, I've been embracing some weirder sounds. One of the things that I've loved is this patch I have with the Ikery. Because it takes a mono and turns it stereo, it adds some flavor, but like that's essentially the sound, right?
Right.
You can hear it like going back and forth, which just is a fairly slow LFO. And then like it just makes everything sound good, and like the higher pitch I get, like the cooler. So that's what I've been playing with. So that's where you get like, let's see, maybe you. One of you has the sound. Like that kind of stuff. I don't know. Been having fun. Or even sequence. I think this one actually had the better stuff. Like it's not much to it other than it sounds cool. It's very percussion-y too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ikery, go buy one. It's awesome. Could be really heavy or really happy.
Yeah, that's one that was on the what do I get for drum type modules, and I think I was going between that one and the BIA, and eventually just settled on the BIA, and the rest of the stuff
Yep.
I look for compact reasons, which I know is not always a good thing to do, but
You gotta fit more in a small space. I get it.
yeah.
No judgment here. I think there's some sick tiny modules. Like 2 HP is rad. Although earlier today I got myself with the 2 HP where I went to plug in I went to plug in the duck trigger
Yeah.
into the Endorphins Cockpit 2, and I plugged it into the no pass filter, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Well, because that filter works perfectly is why I
Right.
didn't hear anything. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, 2 HP makes cool modules. Anyway, Ikery I like. I still like it. It's something that I've had a hard time like it always makes good sounds, but like figuring out how to fit those sounds into what I'm doing. Because like you, I'm sort of out of space and I need to make space decisions.
Yeah.
Like ideally I would have 5 oscillators, but I only have 4.
And I mean, technically I could keep it growing, but that's out of the scope of what I want this for.
Yeah, and that's on my to-do list, but like I think my next major electronics project will be like building out the power supply for the next case, which I think I have all of the pieces for. Just need to find a day to do it. I think I usually wait till the winter to do that stuff because there's not a lot to do outside.
Yeah.
At night. So that'll happen for sure. I think that first case is still going to be another Cosmo case, and I'm going to have to build a custom case specific to Eurorack. I'm going to make myself a Eurorack case if that Cosmo case goes well. But I think I might have to like double up the power supply or something. I don't know. Power supplies and modular are so hard. No, it's not that they're hard. They're just a lot of cables, if you're me. I was also thinking of making it so that I can daisy chain them, sort of, but one thing at a time.
So we got a question from Robbie.
Yeah, let's see.
Do you ever use techniques to use one sequencer or trigger sequencer with more than one VCO?
Do you ever use techniques to use one sequence with more than one VCO?
So the same sequence, but going to multiple VCOs?
Yes. Yeah, but I don't think it's his venture. Like, I mean, I guess all the time, like my bass voice is two VCOs, right? Like, but it's a single sequence going into it. But sometimes when in the past, like experimenting, yeah, like one channel, yeah. So that's what I do. The reason I want more voices is because I really love the sound of two oscillators for a lead and two oscillators for a bass. And you don't always need two oscillators, but I like having two because they're never going to be perfectly in sync unless I set up the sync properly, which I won't. And you get just more like a meteor sound, almost like PWM.
Right.
You can do things like go up an octave with one or a few octaves with one, and then it's like almost like one's a bass line, one's a lead.
Yeah.
You can do things like with these VCOs, there's a fine-tuned pitch knob on them that is a full range of an octave. So if I turn all the way left, it goes down 6 cents, and if I turn all the way right, it goes up 6 cents from center, which means I can very quickly basically go up or down a fifth to get that nice like rave lead.
Yeah.
Like the classic techno lead, really fast. So that's something I really like doing with two voices.
That's really nice that you can do that. I don't think I have anything that can replicate that. The Voca bass that I just recently got has it set up like that as well, though. So
yeah.
There's 3 VCOs in there, and I can quickly do the same kind of shift with down octave, up octave, or the fifth in between.
Right. It's just a really nice sound. Like you get.
Yeah.
I think I have one like pre-patched on this thing that's pretty similar. Let's see, like that sort of sound almost, but less clean with my stuff.
Yeah.
I guess other weird things I've done with like. Here's what I've been doing a lot with one sequence. So my Evil Eye sequencer right above my thumb, that thing's been controlling multiple things, and it's actually 2 sequencers in one, 2 8-step sequencers. And I'm constantly using one or both. Like it's got 2 outputs for each sequencer. I'm constantly using them for modulation. Like if I like start it up manually and then turn this on. Just a sec. Like that's the kind of stuff, like all it's doing is affecting the VCA in this, or the filter in this case. So that's one that I am usually sequencing multiple things. Sometimes it's usually on a filter, and then sometimes I'll send the other one to like the speed of an LFO. So every note it changes the speed of the LFO, which is modulating something else. So like that's pretty fun too. Hey, did we summon enthusiastic electrons? I didn't know this sequencer could do that.
We did. And to answer Robbie's question, I do that a lot, especially with the Twin Waves dual oscillator. I'll have the same sequence going into, so I'll just use like the buffered mult and send that into the 2 different VCOs, and I'll have those either tuned the same, or I'll tune one to the 5th, or I use the different sine wave, all the different algorithms that I can go through and change it to change up that sequence. Now with the and before I would either mute one or I'd manually patch it if I wanted to bring it out. But now with the Bafako morphator, I can actually have both of those coming in, and then use the slider to go between one or the other or both. So yeah, I definitely use one sequence to multiple VCOs.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I'm trying to read back chat. Yeah, Robbie, you're right. I didn't mean cents. I meant half steps. Notes.
But I understand why you said cents, because some of the devices
I forget what
show
they
the
call it.
cents value,
Yeah.
which it is a measure used for music intervals.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I also like the sine wave that you just like output that you just mentioned got me thinking too. Like some of the things I've been doing, as well as pulling the. Like I don't have a sine wave on mine. I've got a triangle, but I'll pull the triangle out and send that into a filter as well. Usually a little bit attenuated so that it's not full action. But if you send a sine wave over to the filter, you'll kind of get some gnarlier sounds too. If it's too low of a note though, like you'll get very farty sounds.
Yeah.
Very farty sounds.
You may want that.
Yeah, if you're making a fart box for sure.
Yeah.
That thing muted? Yeah, I think so. Let's see here. Anyway, fart box. It wasn't very farty. That was like weird cartoon sounds, but it's fine. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other. Some stuff that's always been on my to-do list is to patch like some gear around that I haven't normally patched. So like run some cables from over there into like the Micro Freak and some from the Micro Freak over into like the Korg or something, like because a lot of these things have. Well, I think virtually every single one of my machines outside of the drum brute and like the guitar pedals have CV inputs or outputs. So yeah, that's something that's I just never done.
Is a patch bay something that would work for you?
I have a patch bay. I have one
Yeah.
over here, and I even made myself a handy dandy. Let's see, patch bay cheat sheet.
Huh.
And yeah, that could help to an extent. I don't know if I would want to run those to the patch bay. I think I would just have cables because they'd be very temporary. Like getting to my patch bay is not. It's an endeavor, so that's why. Like it's sort of mostly set up to just change mixing stuff around, occasionally pedals. I should also sell that pedal because I don't use that anymore now that I've got a compressor over here. That's cool. Yeah.
And are those the connections that you want to do? Are those 1/4 inch or?
Everything is 3.5 millimeter except for Cosmo.
Okay.
Actually, the exception would be the EXT box for the Studio Electronics. That actually has a bunch of. No, even. Yeah, no, it does have some 1/4 inch in. And out. So I could do some stuff there, but most of them are 3.5 millimeter. And
what you could do, so you're not running a bunch of cables, is get a little pod, the 4MS pod, and put that dope for. Oh, what is it? Hold on. I always forget the numbers because it's dope for. But it has a network jack on it, and then you get a bunch of inputs or outputs depending on where you're going.
Right.
So then you would just run. It's sold as a pair. So put the other one in your case, and the other one in the little pod next to all your gear.
Right, like up here or something.
Yeah, and then just run one network cable between them.
Yeah, that's something I've thought of doing more manually, like just making my own. Because I think it would be trivial to do. yeah, so that's something that's been on my list of things to try out. Very low.
Yeah.
Like actually building that. Like I think first I would just use like these really long cables that I have. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter, and then snap on one of these. I'm always running out of these things. No, that's not even the right one. These things. There we go. Across the room. But I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to try that right this second because I don't want to like accidentally break something. I think it would be fine. I would start with the Micro Freak probably.
Yeah.
It's the most patch, like it's little LED patch grid is pretty handy compared to like menu diving in the Korg or something. Dope for A189. Yeah, that thing is sick, and it is like a giant. I think it's a network cable. I forget what kind. Maybe like a Cat 5 or 6.
They actually recommend, I think, a Cat 7
Cat 7
shield because for the ground and the shielding, it doesn't do.
It'll capture less noise. Yeah.
Yeah. So especially if you're going to do some long runs.
Yeah, none of my stuff is close together, which is problematic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much line noise on my stuff.
Yeah, Forstein wants to know what guitar sounds you make with your mouth, by the way.
I usually make it with this. Hold on. But we need like some more. I don't know. Sometimes that sounds really guitar-y, sometimes not. Down. Like, I understand Blamp now that you've explained it, but now I feel like an extra nerd to like need you to explain that to me, which is fine. That's totally fine. Oh, this thing's coming off. All right. Let's see, what time is it? 8:42.
It is 7:42.
Cool. We got lots of time. All right, let's take some questions. Ask us any questions, and we will answer them better than anybody else. All right. No loss at 25 feet. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so 25 feet. One thing I have been thinking about is moving upstairs. Like, it won't have the same Hex 7 vibe as like being under water pipes and stuff, but I also won't be under water pipes, so we'll see.
All right, you're up. How would you make modular punk rock?
Hold on. Let's see here. Let's find something like this. Do that. That's new thing. Just a second. Gotta Okay. Step. And BPM. That, but probably a little faster. Maybe some good screaming, and I wouldn't say singing because you can't be in key, but you should be close to it. Yes, that's how I do modular punk rock.
Very nice.
And maybe if you were live, you would like, at the end of the show, like go real fast and then like, pull your whole setup down and like rip cables out and jump all over it. I don't know. And then go into beekeeping. Yeah, I don't know. How would you do modular punk rock?
I have no idea. I wouldn't. Um, I mean, I love punk rock, but I'll leave that to the rockers. Although Robbie says modular, it's a trick question because modular is already punk rock.
Like making music on modular is as punk rock as it gets, right? Like, yeah, there's like a lot of punk rock vibes I get from, especially the DIY crowd. Like some of the crazy, like this is nothing compared to like what some people are making, and it's
Oh yeah.
like yeah, it's wild. Some of the crazy stuff they're coming up with. It's super clever and punk rock in a lot of ways. Very uh, anti-normal music, I guess, anti-establishment in some ways. I don't know. I prefer more of the like summoning aesthetic. So like, like I don't know. I like. Actually, that got really like alien real quick. Anyway,
Yeah, but I like that. So I guess that can lead into the next question: is do you start with sounds or with notes?
do you have an answer for this one?
Um, y- yeah, I start off with sounds. I guess I start patching around looking for a sound that I want, and I'll pick a voice. So I'll kind of patch, your typical VCO filter mix up, and then when I have the sound that I like, I'll hook up my little key step controller, and then start messing around looking for something that I like. And then when I've got either a bass pattern or a tune, some melody that I like, then from there I'll move over and copy that or program it into the black sequencer. So then I've got that now running, and then I move over the key step to my next voice, and that's typically how I'll build something up. Um, Sometimes I'll just experiment, but I would say that's 20% of the time.
That's interesting. Yeah, I do a bit of a combination, but most of the time, uh, yeah, most of the time I'm starting with some sort of melody. Like I came down into this room today, I like sort of had an idea of where to go and like not necessarily what the sounds would be. Like sometimes I'll like plug in a bit of a melody, um, and then patch the heck out of it to get it to where it feels interesting to me.
Hmm.
Other times, like with this note, like totally happy accident where I was like, all right, let's add a bass line, and it made that sound, and I was like, done. Like, so like, I don't know. So yeah, it's a combination. Occasionally, I will try to like make specific sounds, like like if I'm making it like a drone, like one of the drones I did for I think Valentine's Day, like that was sort of started with a drone sound. I knew I wanted like a flute sort of sound, so I worked on the sound first because it carries a little bit over the drone.
Okay.
Yeah, so like sometimes I am starting with sounds first, but or like when I started with the drone, like I knew I wanted a drone, I didn't know what the notes would be, um, and that was actually kind of a fun one. So I had one voice droned and pitched, another voice also always on, but like controlled by the same sequence, but at a different rate. It was kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, I think there's a good balance. Like it's fun. Like part of the fun of this that you don't see a lot of the streams from me anyway recently is just like messing around to find a cool sound. Lately, I don't spend as much time doing that. Not because I know what I want, but because I am familiar with where the controls are, and I just start wildly messing with stuff until I get something interesting. Like I'm not trying to finesse things as much as I used to. I don't know. That's probably worse, but Yeah, so I do sound design sessions. Often those result in like a short stream afterwards.
Yeah.
But usually melody. Like I like melodies a lot. Even though I have like 5 melodies that I do over and over again. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, I like percussive patches, Robbie. Part of that is like some of my stuff just detuned naturally and then turned into atonal music real quick. Like this bass sound, like I guess if I like raise the pitch, it's like really bad. Ooh. Anyway.
So cool. I love that. You said something about detuning. I always hear this, with the analog VCOs, and I don't really experience it a lot. Do you? Is that a bigger problem because of the Cosmo, or is it related, more weather related to where you are?
Yes, this room changes temperature often, which is part of it. So I'll like sometimes tune it. Usually I wait 30 minutes before I like really worry about tuning anything, even if it's like kind of off and annoying. Like it'll sometimes just go right back in. But in this case, I think there's just a power supply issue. Like there's just slightly less power in this bottom section than there needs to be. So, and I was actually looking for this and found it on the show, this screwdriver, because I can actually go and like, I'll turn this on. So I'll center the knob and then I'll go into the front panel. And that's about all I do to tune it.
Right.
And then now when I do this, I can do up the, like I can do that quick change. So that's what I was looking for this morning, but I couldn't find it. So that's why that one was out of tune. But it generally changes as it warms up, like Robbie said. So temperature-wise, it will take 10 minutes or so for the most dramatic change. But also mine's just got some power supply issues, so that's something I need to work on.
Okay.
That's not really specific to Cosmo. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I do the same. I haven't tested it just to see how much it changes, but from reading before I really got into this, I just got in the habit of turning it on, waiting 15, 20 minutes, and then tuning, and then get working at it. But I haven't myself experienced any wild changes outside of, after the fact. Enthusiastic Electrons is asking if if there's any weird changes with elevation.
I don't think so, but I do know that with elevation, higher voltages or like, I guess like shock, like when you shock your friend or something from rubbing your feet on the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
That what's that called? Where the electricity jumps a gap, an air gap. That jump can be wider at elevation with lower voltage, I believe. So if I had like a high-powered machine that worked at sea level, if I brought it up here and it wasn't properly insulated, those things could short pretty easily up here. That's the only thing I'm aware of. I don't know. I don't think it affects the pitch, though. I mean, I don't know physicist, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, and Robbie, Robbie was saying that filters change too. Yeah, my analog filters have the same issue. So like, it's not really an issue with the filter too much, but like, if I a good example would be if I had like set this to self-oscillate and left on, and like recorded for 30 minutes while it was turning, like right after I turned it on, and you like skipped ahead, you would hear the pitch change in that. It takes my modular longer to boil water. Yeah, but I just throw some salt on it to counteract that. It's fine. It takes longer to boil water. Food needs to be canned longer. Fun fact. Sure, yeah. I mean, some things are harder at elevation. Staircases. Standing. Which is why I'm standing. It's good exercise, but also it's more fun. Like when you have a bigger setup, standing is fun, I guess. Also, I can't stand still, so when I'm in a chair, I just fidget all the time, and it's less awkward if I'm actually standing. Yeah, I don't have I don't know, the pitch thing doesn't really, I don't see it too often. Most of the time, things are pretty close. Right now, with this one specific bass oscillator down here, that's the only thing that's really suffering from the power that I'm aware of these modules. I mean, I'm sure everything is to an extent, but this is the only one where it's noticeable. And that simply prevents me from doing the octave switch easily, because if I go up an octave, it like detunes just a little bit. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Let's hear it. Oh yeah, it's bad. Let's not do that. Yeah. Popper, did I miss a dog? My dog does help me though. I have yet to mic up my dog because I don't have wireless mics, but that would be one thing I would like to do at some point too. Or get some like crappy walkie-talkies and use those essentially as a wireless mic, like run the audio out of one into my modular and then like attach the other one to like my dog.
Mine came by for a visit, wondering why I'm not eating my dinner yet.
Oh, Robbie, yeah. Well, we'll finish this up shortly. But Robbie had a good comment that DEF CON was his first time playing the synth vertical and loved it, though it was too low. Yeah, so there's a sweet spot, right? Right here is the sweet spot for me, like a little bit above, like just a little bit above, like almost as tall as me, and then to here, like even a little bit lower. But this is where I can see everything really clearly. I really like this height. Lower is still doable, but like you said, it's just a little bit too low, and you have to sort of bend over to do anything, especially with the smaller controls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the tall stuff is, hopefully you know where things are at.
Yeah.
But unless you build your own case for Eurorack, I don't think you'd go that tall, or unless you got one of those really big cases.
I don't like it too vertical. I've used other cases before. I'll do like a little bit of a slant to it.
Yeah.
So, but that's the reason. Like, I built this whole desk, and I did it with thinking, if I'm standing here, where do I want my hands to be for both parts of it?
Oh, that's interesting. So you actually built that desk just to be like the right height for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's part of, I mean, I did something similar. That's part of why I built this, other than I thought it was a cool idea, but like I just wanted like a little bit more height. And eventually that might turn into a Eurorack line, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to see in this, but I've got, my little drawer, sliding drawer underneath, where I've got the key step hidden.
Yep.
And then I have the top shelf. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, I think we have the same speakers. Yeah. Yamaha whatever's.
And then I got some
the glowy dot.
Quarter-inch pipe that I put on here, so then I have a GoPro and I can move around. Hanging off of the pipe.
That's really smart. I should do that when I build something like that. That's cool. That's very smart. Also like the mirror, because it makes, like when you have your modular next to it, it sort of looks infinite at the right angle.
Right. I just have to be careful.
Yeah. Sure. Another question from Ravi. Any exciting plans for EMS end of cycle 1 stream train? I mean, I can tell you I have no plans because I don't know if I'll be here, but if I am here, if I think I'm going to be here, I'll probably try to caboose it, and I'll probably go for like as outer space as possible. Like Twilight Zone, but as a sound, like as a like the Hex 7 take on that sort of vibe.
Oh, that'd be interesting to hear your take on outer space.
You know, like lots of like let's turn that on and this off and like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like tuning a radio or something. A radio would be good too. Maybe I'll incorporate a radio or do some like cool like get after party, like if we do an after party, like get that Zoom audio coming in somehow and gate it, or I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna get weird. I think I'm just gonna go for extra weird. Or
Yeah,
like super mellow. We'll see what I'm feeling. Like actually mellow, not like heck mellow.
An ambient an ambient Hex 7 stream.
Yeah, like start with a drone, like a nice sounding drone, which I don't have set up right now, but you can just imagine a nice drone. Underwater themed stream train would sound like from everyone. I think there's a Metalocalypse album for Fish, and that's what I would go for. If we were doing an underwater theme. I like having themes. Themes are kind of fun because it gives you a starting point, maybe a little bit of limitation. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why those New York patchables are really good to do, because they give you a starting point, and that limitation, for me, it feeds like the creativity. It's like, okay, I have to force myself to do it this way, which in the end teaches me a little more about my system.
Yes, I agree. I learned so much about polyrhythms that
Right?
on that one. But like, yeah. I guess another thing for underwater, I feel like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Like lots of like low pass filtering happening. And warbly, like I think warbly helps underwater feels. Yeah, that's great. I like the idea of the like Tim said. I like the idea of music for fish. Let's do it at some point. What I would like to try one day is a sort of unscheduled scheduled stream train. Like I don't know if this would be chaos or bad or whatever, but like set a start time and like have no scheduling who plays what, just like someone start go like self-organize, like help everybody pop in the chat like, hey, you want to go first? Yeah, okay, like all right, ping me when you're ready to hop on, like that kind of thing, and like do more of like an impromptu stream train to see how far we can go with that. Can we see you please? Heck. Oh crap, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. They were
Yeah.
they were forced to look at me for a while.
I'm sorry. I'm not a good whatever the person is called that controls cameras on a stream.
Well, this is why the unscheduled scheduled train is, I don't want to say a bad idea, but it's a rough idea,
Yeah.
because then you have people forgetting to do things, and you need that help.
Yeah, I think you need some help.
You need the
I don't
person
know.
to say, "Hey, you turned your camera off."
Yes. Yes. But I feel like we've always got like one or two people in chat that can be that person for us.
Yeah.
Yes. And like whenever the next person is ready, they'll let you know, and you wrap it up. Like, don't do any 3-hour sessions on a stream train kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, like a Sunday afternoon would be a perfect time for that or something. Well, unscheduled stream train is Thursday afternoon. That's probably true. You know what? Friday evenings, which is like one of my favorite times to stream, is my least popular time. Like, if I stream on Friday, it's like 2 people. Period. I don't know why. I guess people have stuff to do on Fridays and I don't. Starting Sunday at noon. Music for Fish party. You know what? Let's do it. Music for Fish this Sunday. Be there, be square. It starts sometime in the middle of the day. All right, I think I'm going to call it.
Okay.
Because I'm fading. The caffeine I had is gone, and now I'm crashing.
Yeah, I think ending on Party for Fish is a good spot.
You know what? Party for Fish is rad.
Yeah.
I don't see enough fish where I live. I guess I could go over to the lake and like put my head in the water. Yeah. Don't live near the ocean. Fish for my time slot, or Friday for my time slot, because I figured nobody would want it. Yeah. Okay. So if there are slots available, maybe I'll sign up. I'm like excited to stream stuff now. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. What the heck, Bartok, you rock.
Thanks.
Did you get my cable sample when I set the phone? That little.
I did.
Okay. Hit me up if you've got yellow cable that matches that. Doesn't have to be rubber. It can be the.
Oh, okay.
Other material.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to order some cables from you.
All right, we'll do.
They're going to be 3.5 millimeter though, probably, and I'll probably also order separately, but part of the same order, the jacks for me to make my own 1/4 inch shorter cables. Happy heck in talking. You know what, Benjamin? I haven't seen your face in a long time either. You need to pop on a show sometime soon.
Yeah, we got to get Benjamin in here.
Yeah. All right. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Y'all.
Good night, everybody.